Coming up, graduation is almost here. Why some Columbia seniors say the biggest stress isn't finals, it's finding enough tickets for their families.
From lecture halls to the big screen, Columbia professors premiere original work.
About to fly home? If you don't have a real ID, you might not make it past security. What to know before you get to the airport. Good morning and welcome to South Loop TV News. I'm Greer Stewart.
And I'm Kayla Serrano. We're starting today's show with a story that's hitting close to home for Columbia seniors. Graduation is supposed to be a time of celebration, but for some students, getting enough tickets for loved ones is turning into a stressful situation. My co-anchor, Greer Stewart, has the story.
With caps and gowns being picked up and final projects wrapping up, Columbia seniors are gearing up for the big day. But everyone isn't celebrating just yet. Students were given the option between 7 and 9 tickets for the main ceremony at the Credit Union Arena this year.
7 tickets isn't enough because everybody wants to go. Like everybody and their mama and their mama's mama and their mama's mama's daddy wants to go.
Some students have turned to social media and class group chats, hoping to score extra tickets from other peers who aren't using theirs.
I went to the grad expo on the first day. I had heard that they're giving out roughly like 9 tickets, but they were advertising it as like we give 7 tickets. So because I came in with that knowledge prior, I had just asked them like, hey, can I get 9 tickets? And they were really chill about it. So I was able to get enough tickets that I needed, and now I'm pretty much good.
Columbia's ticketing policy aims to keep things fair and within venue limits. Available seating capacity will be carefully monitored to remain in compliance with the state of Illinois and City of Chicago guidelines for large indoor entertainment venues. Guests ages 2 years old and up are required to have a ticket.
7 is like the limit that we can do for like all like 1,400, but we do have those students who have extra large families, and we want to make sure that the ones that are traveling like around the world can sit in and be with their loved ones. So basically the students just tell us that they need that additional ticket and we can make that accommodation happen, but it's like a limitation for like the arena kind of thing.
With graduation just weeks away, many students are balancing excitement with a little bit of stress. But one thing's for sure, they'll be walking the stage with pride no matter who's in attendance. For South Loop TV, I'm Greer Stewart. Joining us live in the studio today is the host and producer of In Your Ear, our official South Loop TV podcast, Sean Tumboken Flowers. Sean, for students on the go, what are some things that they can look forward to when listening to your podcast?
You hear a lot of the stories that we air on this show right here, but a bit more digestible, real quick. It is a great way to get that news if you are on the go, just want to throw something in your ear, need to listen to it on the way.
Sean, can you share some of the details of how your editing process is like?
I love the editing process of podcasting. It's one of my favorite things to do is get in there and make things happen. I think that the thing I do the most for this show is I make it nice and listenable. Taking a lot of the packages that we put on air here, making them listenable, good for the ear, and it's a show that is easy on the ears.
All right, thank you so much, Sean. You can check out South Loop TV podcast, more on Podbean to hear more about Sean in your ear. And lights, camera, professor, Columbia's film faculty are stepping out from behind the syllabus and onto the screen. Turns out they don't just grade films, they make them. Cassidy Casanova with the story.
Once again, excellence is being celebrated here at Columbia, this time not for students, but for faculty here at the School of Film and Television.
You ever heard the phrase, life is lived forward, but understood backward?
If this is some way of you telling me that I'm crazy, you can save it.
The celebration of faculty excellence recognizes honors and achievements of the Columbia community in the last calendar year. Attendees enjoyed learning from their instructors' work.
I've seen the trailers there, and I thought they were so beautiful, and I can't wait to see all the works.
Co-presented with Academic Affairs and School of Film and Television, the event at 1104 spotlighted original work from faculty members.
A student coming into this screening should be looking at how something is made, and then whether or not the photomechanics, the plastic of it, the engineering of it does translate into an effective story, something that communicates well. So within this context, that's what I'm looking for.
Tonight, Columbia faculty are not just teaching, but leading by example. Cassidy Casanova reporting for South Loop TV.
Is this how we find out our professors are low-key filmmakers?
At this point, I'm just hoping my diploma comes with end credits.
But before any of that, we've got to make it through graduation and maybe even a flight home.
Coming up, flyers may be grounded because of a Real ID requirements taking effect next week.
And a look at the 7-week forecast for the week.
Jay, it's me. I spoke to Mom and Dad. We don't think you should have a gun right now. It's temporary. Things felt dangerous. I think you need to talk to somebody.
I don't know which way to turn.
Jay, you took that first hard step to find someone that can help you on the path to recovery.
You sound good.
I think I see a way through.
Jay!
Danny.
Danny! Labs.
Danny, we need to talk.
Danny! Danny! She's overdosing.
When no one else knows what to do, it's gotta be you. Carrying the lock zone, you could save a life.
Hate is loud. It gets clicks. It gets attention. Hate, however, is actually quite small. But love. Love is the majority. Love fills our hearts, our lives, our everyday.
Starting next week, passengers may have trouble boarding domestic flights if they don't have a Real ID.
After 2 decades of discussion and pushbacks, the Real ID deadline is finally approaching. Allie Brennerman reports from the Real ID Supercenter downtown on what you need to know before you fly.
Next week marks the end of a decades-long wait. The Real ID deadline is May 7th, and we're outside the Real ID Supercenter off Clark and Lake, where people are lining up to get their citizenship and identity confirmed before the deadline.
Wish there were more time, but you know, they've been talking about it for a while, so in line to get it taken care of.
In order to get your Real ID, you must have 5 documents from 4 different groups. Group 1 is proof of identity, date of birth, and U.S. citizenship. Group 2 is full social security number. Group 3 is residency, and Group 4 is written signature. Dennis Lacewell is one of many travelers with upcoming flights in May, trying to get his papers in order before his departure.
Yeah, I'm not from here, I'm from North Carolina, so getting my mom to send me my birth certificate, you know, doing that. So that was a little tedious, getting my social security card.
I think the only more difficult thing was to find the proof and print it out because I don't have a printer at home.
While the line at the Real ID location we were at was long, it seemed to move quickly, according to flight attendant Caitlin Keisler.
So it hasn't been bad. This is my second attempt though, just because I've had in between appointments or things I have going on. I mean, it's a pretty long line, but I have to say it's kind of progressed since I've got here.
Pues preocupada porque dije, ay, Diosito, aquí hay demasiadas personas.
Those queued up to get their Real IDs were mixed on whether they thought the process was necessary. Some were supporters of the new ID requirements, like Maria Castro, while others found it tedious and annoying.
Bueno, yo creo que es para llevar un control más exacto de lo que hacemos y a dónde vamos a viajar y para tener una seguridad.
I really don't understand in terms of this higher level of identity card to fly. Like it doesn't make sense.
Make sure to check your ID for the yellow star if you have any plans of traveling domestically before May 7th. If you don't have a yellow star, you can go to a DMV with the correct documents or a Real ID Supercenter like this one. This is Ali Brenneman for South Loop TV.
Moral of the story, get your real ID or get left behind. And speaking of things that don't know when to leave, looks like April showers are loitering in May. Let's check out this week's forecast. And it looks like the April showers will overstay their welcome. Prepare for consistent rain until Monday, where we'll look at temperatures with highs in the 50s. Tuesday and Wednesday will have cloudy conditions in the high 60s before the sun finally comes out again, just barely hitting 60 on Thursday.
This weather's got main character energy and I hate it.
Definitely giving cloudy with a chance of chaos.
But you know who is the main character? Columbia athletes. They've been putting in work more from sports when we come back.
And later on, students, big style, and even bigger impact. Don't miss this week's Student Spotlight.
Tulip season. They're blooming and they're back on Michigan Avenue. Details after the break.
Jay, it's me. I spoke to Mom and Dad. We don't think you should have a gun right now. It's temporary. Things felt dangerous. I think you need to talk to somebody.
I don't know which way to turn.
Jay, you took that first hard step to find someone that can help you on the path to recovery.
You sound good.
I think I see a way through.
Jay!
Danny.
Danny! Labs.
Danny, we need to talk.
Danny! Danny! She's overdosing.
When no one else knows what to do, it's gotta be you. Carrying the lock zone, you could save a life.
Hate is loud. It gets clicks. It gets attention. Hate, however, is actually quite small. But love is the majority. Love fills our hearts, our lives, our everyday.
Welcome back. If your group project isn't going anywhere, maybe your jump shot can. Columbia's athletic community is keeping the momentum with open runs and events giving students a chance to get involved. The Black Wolves basketball team is hosting an open run from 3 to 5 p.m. on Sunday, May 4th, as well as an open run 8 to 10 p.m. Wednesday, May 6th.
As some of you Chicagoans may have noticed, spring is in full bloom here in the city. But of course, we can't talk about blooming in spring without mentioning the gorgeous flowers on display along the city streets. The famous Chicago springtime tulips are currently blooming along Michigan Avenue, likely until about mid-May, when they switch from the spring to summer landscaping. The Chicago Department of Transportation is behind the flowers' yearly planning and planting. It's a process that starts much earlier than Chicagoans may realize, beginning typically in July of the year prior. In previous years, the tulip bulbs have been available at the end of the spring landscaping era to anyone who wants them. While we don't know exactly where and when to find them this year just yet, keep an eye on the Chicago Community Growers Association on Facebook to know how to get Michigan Avenue tulip bulbs of your own.
So the tulips started prepping in July? That's more advanced planning than most of us did for graduation.
Honestly, the tulips have their lives more together than me.
But if you're still looking for something inspiring, this week's Student Spotlight might just do the trick.
This week on Student Spotlight, we're featuring a student who's redefining fashion and nightlife with creativity and purpose. Meet Sassy Doherty, a fashion merchandising senior at Columbia College Chicago. She's a face behind the Dollhouse series of events that give queer youth space to gather, connect, and be themselves. From poetry nights to clothing swaps, Sassy curates unforgettable moments that blend fashion, art, and community. Even her invites are vibe, creative, fun, and totally on brand. She's also the mastermind behind Burlesque on the Beach and is always on the hunt for the next perfect venue. Sassy's not just hosting events, she's creating a movement, and her impact doesn't go unnoticed. She's a past recipient of the Fashion Scholarship Fund and continues to use her platform to uplift queer voices and style-forward spaces. Follow at dollhouse.chicago to see what's next. Highlighting creative students every week on South Loop TV, I'm Sabrina Belmonte.
That's pretty impressive. How do you think we can get on the Dollhouse invite list?
Honestly, I want to be that organized, stylish, and iconic all at once.
In order to nominate someone for a future student spotlight, be sure to reach out on our team on Instagram at South Loop TV.
That's all for our show this week. Be sure to also listen to our weekly podcast, South Loop TV in Your Ear, hosted by Sean Tombokin Flowers on Podbean. Thanks so much for tuning in. I'm Kayla Serrano.
And I'm Greer Stewart. Have a great rest of your week and tune in next week for more from South Loop TV News.